All right, welcome everyone. It's now 6:31 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on the 6th day of May, 2025. I ask everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gopal, will you lead us?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Dear Father, we gather here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities, so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. As always, we thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As always, Mark, thanks. Appreciate it. Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Lorraine,
Present.
Reed,
Here.
Clark,
Present.
Krug is present, Kessler,
Here.
Gopal,
Here.
Tucker's absent. You have 6 members present.
All right, thanks, Bob. I'd also like to note for the record that Township Attorney Jack Belzer, our Operations Manager Tom Broker, Zoning Administrator Mike Deem, our Assessor Julia Wilson, and our Fire Chief Ryan Volz are present this evening. In addition, the following township officials are present via Zoom, and that's our Township Engineer Melissa Lawrence. Tom, will you detail the procedures for those attending tonight's virtual meeting?
Yes, to members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised the meeting is being recorded to be shown on public access TV on Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach portions of the meeting where public comment is allowed. For tonight's meeting, there are no public hearings, therefore all public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the Township website at fentontownship.org.
Thanks, Tom. All right, moving on to the first business in order is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
I vote yes. Clark,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker's absent, Lorraine,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, agenda stands approved as presented. The next business in order is the meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the meeting minutes from the April 15th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes? Hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Moving on to expenditures, are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices? Treasurer is absent tonight. Usually, if there's anybody that has them, that's usually John. All right. I'll entertain a motion regarding the payment of expenditures totaling $765,085.85 for payment.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Reed,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker's absent, Kessler,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
I vote yes. Clark,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right. Thanks, Bob. All right, moving on to public hearings. As Tom said, we have none this evening. Moving on to reports, we have the Fire Department first quarter report. We have our Fire Chief here, Ryan Volz, to go over with. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, everybody. First quarter report, we're a month behind. We should have did this back in April, but we've been busy. We had 173 alarms for the first quarter. We had, what do we see here? We had 16 fires, 54 medicals, 3 hazardous conditions, 22 service calls, 68 good intent calls, and 10 false alarms. So that's good. The false alarms are going down. So that's one thing that's we've been working on. Of those, Tyrone Township, everything's electronic now. Sorry about this. Tyrone Township had 9 alarms. in the first quarter. They had 3 EMS calls. They had 1 service call. They had 4 good intent calls and 1 false alarm. And that is the report for the first quarter for Tyrone and Fenton Township.
All right, thanks, Chief. Are there any questions or comments from the board for the chief?
There was one other thing that I also included on it that I sent to Tom. It's calls by area. We're still getting the bugs out of it. I told it out as at 176 alarms, but we know there's 173. And I know we have 3 no alarms on there, but we had 84 alarms in Station 1's area, which is Ralston Road to the north. And then we had 73 alarms in Station 2's area, which is Ralston Road to the south. We had 7 mutual aids and 9 calls in Tyrone Township.
It's good information to have.
So,
Question.
go ahead.
When you have these calls in the north and south areas, do you roll trucks from both stations for the calls?
We do, and we always have, and it's actually worked to our benefit because there's a lot of back-to-back calls that we've run so far this year. With one of the trucks on the road, it was able to divert and go to another call. So, but usually the truck out of Station 2 runs the majority of them because it's the busier.
Well, yeah.
It's the more man station.
I mean, you're happy with that?
Yeah.
So are we, but I just want, I'm thinking in case there's a breakdown, we already have another one at least on the route.
Yep, we have, like I say, like most municipalities, they have 1 station, so they only have 1
Yeah.
per. We're fortunate, we have 2 stations, so we have double of everything. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, next we have the zoning administrator report for April 2025. We have our zoning administrator, Mike Dean, to review.
Yeah, so the report is basically a summary of the Planning Commission, Zoning Board, and the Parks and Recreation Board over the past month. For the Planning Commission, one of the big things that they did is they reviewed all the existing PUDs in the township, identified some that have not been developed in accordance with, or have not been developed, and those that have begun but haven't had any action on them in a decade. So we've sent out letters asking them what their intent is, for either following through on what the PUD was or identifying properties that should probably be rezoned. A good example is there is a property on Laring Road that was identified, or it was a PUD for 20 lots. It's been purchased by 1 person, got a variance for like a 10,000 square foot accessory building on there. Never being developed as subdivision. No need for it to be rezoned, to keep the PUD rezone, or zoning classification should be rezoned back to R3, right? So we identified a whole bunch of those that could be rezoned and clear up the zoning map. Adopt-a-Pet came in and got their final approval for a new training facility behind their existing building. We have an expansion to the Union Building over there on Thompson Road, where they're adding meeting space. That got final approval. Let's see, you guys are aware of all the Parks and Rec stuff because it all came back in front of you at the last meeting. We had 2 variance requests at the last Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. One was a short-term rental request, and that was denied, and one was a front yard setback variance in Chateau, and that was approved, and they are happy that you guys have approved the water project. That helped them make the decision to purchase that property. Besides that, I'm here to answer any questions you guys might have on the report.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions or comments from the board for Mike? Hearing none. Thanks, Mike. All right, are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to communications. This is the bond rating for capital improvement and special assessment bonds. Operations Manager Broker will review.
Yes, 1 or 2 meetings ago, the board adopted the bond authorizing resolutions for $4.1 million in capital improvement bonds for the water system and $2.3 million approximately for 4 special assessment projects. Because they're being sold at a public sale, they go through a rating process. financial advisors can either go through Moody's or S&P Standard & Poor's. And our advisors chose S&P Global. So we went through a whole process of providing information, actually had an online meeting for where they would ask questions about the financial standing of the township and the prospects for the future, and a lot of detailed information. And the end result was our bond rating was set at AA, which was our financial advisor said is really, it's rare for a township our size to get that good of a rating. So that should help us secure a better interest rate on these 20-year bonds, and probably lines us up for our next bond issue too, which is probably not too far behind with the other projects we have going.
All right, thanks, Tom. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Well, the bond rating is very important not only for the township, but for the residents as we issue bonds for special assessment districts, things like that. And it also benefits our residents. So it's a well-managed township. Tom, great report. If there's no other questions from the board, we'll move to adoption of ordinances. We have none this evening. Unfinished business, we have none. Moving on to new business, this is the siren replacement proposal, Fire Station number 1. We have our fire chief up here to explain.
Christine's favorite device. Actually, she's my listener that if it doesn't work, I do get a phone call or a text message or get notified of the board meeting. The problem with that siren is it's a one-way siren, and dispatch has no way of recording or finding if it went off or alerted. So that's been an ongoing problem for the last 15, 20 years. We have put a lot of money into that siren. It seems like every 2 years we're having to rebuild the alert system in it so it can receive, because it's somehow either because it sets opened, it doesn't, I don't know if it burns it out quicker or what the reason. They haven't given me a reason why that continuously goes out. We got a quote from West Shore, which does the sirens in the county. Mr. Gopel made a really good point at the public safety meeting of why is it just West Shore? Is there somebody else that does it? It's a company that 911 recognizes and the county recognizes to doing the repair because we have a service agreement signed with them. So we work with them. If we want to proceed and look elsewhere for a siren, which I would have to try and figure out where to look for it, we could proceed with that. But I know in the past sirens were between $20,000 and $25,000 to install. And they're saying it needs to be a complete install. They build them right there at the plant and deliver the whole thing already on the pole. They just put it in and wire it up. So that's all they do on scene, and then the removal of the old sirens. So it's pretty much up to the board if we want to proceed with this and get it replaced. It's up to the township to replace, purchase, and do everything with these sirens. In the past, we've gotten grants. There aren't any grants out for them right now. They did a countywide grant here, I think, about 10 years ago, and this is where we're at. And the price is $31,300. It's a big chunk of change, but it's also our residents' safety that we're looking at here.
The one that's existing, was that installed by West Shore originally?
I believe that one was. It was installed, I believe, 30 years ago. The one, and it was rebuilt because they couldn't get parts for it, so they had to, I know when I took over as chief, we had to have it rebuilt. They didn't have parts, so they had to make parts to make it work. We do have one at Station 2, which is the new style, which is what we're looking at purchasing. So it would be a standalone. They would be able to service it. They would know if there were any issues with it from dispatch, looking back to see if it either went off or didn't go off. And they can check a lot of the issues with that. But yeah, this is a pretty old one.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
I'll make a comment. We didn't approve this at the meeting, and I wanted to chew on it for a little bit. The issue is that I have is that 911 is apparently dictating what type and who we have to buy the siren from, but we're responsible for buying it and maintaining it. And I that's the issue. I mean, it's a one-party, it's gotta be West Shore, we're buying it. I don't necessarily agree with that, especially if we're paying for it and the upkeep. They're telling us which one we have to buy, and there's no RFPs or anything, it's literally a one, he didn't get other bids. It's just, this is what you need to buy, but you're responsible for it. But, we're telling you what you gotta get. And I don't know.
I agree with you, Mark, in the sense that, I asked the chief this, and he said, well, this is the company that everybody deals with because with the county.
Because that's-
But to me, that doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. So to me, when you're dealing with a company, just because if the county's gonna require it to be there, then they should look for grants. They should replace them all in Genesee County at the same time. There is grant money out there. One of my things I was gonna say is, number one, I'd like to know if there's a warranty on it, since there's one supplier. Are we gonna keep getting hit again? And second of all, I can certainly go out and look for grant money, but I don't like looking at grant money after the fact. So if you want, we can, the chief and I can, or the chief can reach out to the county and find out if they do have a plan. If we wanna hold it off to the next meeting and see if there's a plan for the county to go out and get grant money for these $30,000 sirens. And again, Mark, I agree. It's one supplier, and I've never found anything in the world that works good if there's one supplier.
And you said you talked to Dave?
Mhm.
And you said there are no grants?
I actually texted him during our meeting up there. And he said,
There are no grants that they can find, right?
correct.
It would be very hard for me to find a grant, because it would have to be multi-jurisdictional anyway, or countywide, so it would be really hard.
If it's necessary and it's a must that it has to be done now, I'm okay with that. I just wanted the whole board, I didn't wanna just blanket, yeah, we approve it, go ahead and push it through, which is,
And we just put like $3,500 into it, so it is functioning now, for now.
Okay. So I just wanted the board to know that, that's kind of my thoughts on it,
Mhm.
is that, I don't know, if they're dictating what we have to buy, and this it's kind of a monopoly for it, we have to pay for it, I'm leery of that,
Well, I think it kind of rolls down to the service agreement, so, I mean, if we did that,
Well, if we
we'd have to
pay for
cancel.
service, I mean, if we have to, the only thing I see 911 are responsible for is connecting to it.
Right.
But I mean, if they have a service agreement for them, but we have to pay for the service.
Mhm.
I mean, that's government 101, you don't do that. At least
Right.
we don't at this board. I mean, Chicago might, but,
You sit on that board, so what's your recommendation to the board? I mean, we're gonna look to the
I just wanna think about it for a couple weeks, and, I mean, you know how I roll,
Mhm.
I'm kind of I'll sit there and just see what other options we've got, see if it tastes any better 2 weeks from now, but right now I mean, if the board wants to go ahead and you think it needs to be done, I'm okay with doing a vote. I'm just thinking, that's a lot of money for us really kinda having our hands tied as far as what we can get. And it's a one-party thing, there's no bids, there's no competition. Yeah, we're responsible for all the costs. Does that make sense to you, Jack?
That makes a lot of sense. There has to be other people that do the same thing.
Yeah, and I just, that's why I didn't give my,
Question, chief,
blessing on it.
are our residents in danger for 2 weeks?
No, our residents they should have the app loaded on their phone from 911. Everybody should have it. I mean, these sirens are only for if you're outside. During the daytime and you're away from your phone, whatever, that's their only sole purpose. Everybody should have the 911 app on their phone. You go on the Genesee County website, you upload that on your phone, and that does the same thing that the sirens do.
I think that it's required now by all service providers. So, I mean, I get them every once in a while, and it's not from Genesee County. So I think most of our phones are equipped with that if there is an emergency.
Well, I believe it's a smart 911 app that dispatch sends out that
Oh, okay.
actually is the same type of system that goes to our sirens. So, and it would give you all the information also up to where it's located or where it's coming from. So, I mean,
Because I know on my phone, when my house was about ready to get pummeled by the hurricanes, I was getting them all the time, and I didn't really sign up anything in Florida, so I was just getting those responses. But, so, do you see a problem with us waiting 2 weeks? I understand.
absolutely not. And after I sat with Mark in the meeting and we started discussing it, it actually made a lot more sense. Even after the text message I got back from the deputy director, I'm like, sitting over there, I'm like, I'll get a hold of the director tomorrow and we'll dig into this a little bit more to see what they know about it, what they can share with us as far as if we have to go with that sole provider or if we can get our own.
Just the optics of it don't look good to me. I mean, it's like.
I agree with you.
You know, here's your company, but you gotta buy this car, this color, and you have to maintain it. But we're gonna still tell you what you have to buy.
You know, it's like a gray or a red ladder on a fire truck. I mean, it's the same thing.
Well, you laugh, but if somebody was dictating to us what type of trucks we had to have and how many we had to have and everything else, but we were required to buy them, I agree with Mark. So if,
I got a question for you, Chief. Do you ever think the siren will be obsolete with the technology we have today? You know, everybody, I mean, I would assume everybody in this room has got a cell phone on them. And like Vince had indicated, that he gets notified, I get notified when something goes, and so you said it was just for the people that are outside, you know, not so much inside, just, you know, outside running around. But generally, they have their phones with them, so I'm just wondering if this is it's an investment, you know, but is it necessary knowing the technology we have today?
Well, we always, even like our dispatch system, we always do everything in twos. So if the main dispatch center goes down, we have a backup system that will work. Which is kind of the way with the sirens. If the phone systems go down,
Sure.
I mean, if something happens and your phones go out, at least we know maybe the siren will go out, maybe it won't. I don't know. I do see them probably going away and then coming up with a alternative source. I mean, we get it on our TVs now. Everybody has smart TVs. It goes over when they do the weather tests on there every month. So they're finding ways to get away, I think, to get away from them because they're so expensive to maintain.
and I think the emergency system is actually through Starlink, so it's through satellite. So I think if all our satellites go out, I think the least of our worries are gonna be about
Thank you.
the siren.
That's my thought on the sirens anyway. If they work outside and you need a siren to tell you that the tornado's coming at you as you're outside, I'm not being funny about that, but on the flip side, you gotta have a little bit of common sense.
I agree. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the proposal from West Shore Services, Inc. Comment for the replacement of the emergency siren at Fire Station Number 1.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
The motion, what is the motion to?
Oh,
To hold up?
I'm sorry.
For review?
Postpone?
Yeah, I thought that's what we wanted.
Okay, you want to make that just,
I'll make a motion that we postpone action on the siren for Fire Station Number 1.
Support.
all right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Hart,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
I vote yes. Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker's absent. Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business, the 2025 local road project. This is Cusawego Drive Catch Basin Repair. Operations Manager Broke, will you explain?
Yes, each year the road commission will identify one or two catch basins that are in serious need of repairs and overhauling. And then under their program, they cover half the cost and they ask the township to cover half. So they've identified one on Cusawego Drive. Their cost estimate is $16,000, which would be $8,000 for the county and $8,000 for us. And we usually do, like I said, we do one or two of these each year, and I recommend this one be approved.
All right, thanks, Tom. Are any questions or comments from the board?
I've got a question about that drain.
Do you want to come up, sir?
This is what I'm here for, I do believe.
Yeah, come on. All you gotta do is state your name, please.
My name is Vince Velasco. I've been a resident for 65 years. I built my house over on a log cabin probably 38 years ago. When I built my house, I had to come in here to get permission to put a storm drain, because I'm a walkout, I got a walkout basement, I'm right on the ground, but I'm the lowest spot on, between Cuswago and Log Cabin, right? So, everything's been fine for 30 years over there, right? The water's been flowing out of the drain, it flows out, goes out, I'm pretty sure it's the drain you're talking about on Cuswago. Well, last December, I noticed water's creeping up in my yard really fast. So I went out and looked at the drain, it looks like it was blocked up, right? So I come in, I talk to your code enforcer, Patrick?
Yes.
Come in here, talk to him, I said, listen, this is a problem, it's up to my French doors. The water's at my French doors. And he came out, I think the day later, with an engineer,
Melissa.
right?
Oh, it was Brian. Yeah, I think it was Brian.
Well, meanwhile, nothing's happened. Well, nothing happened. Well, 3 weeks later, it rained, and in 40 minutes, I had 1.5 feet of water coming through my French doors, blasting into my basement, flooded, wiped out everything. Well, everything. Went to my insurance company, they said, tough luck. It's a storm drain problem. They said, go to the township. Well, so I started digging up my drain on its own. See, I got a drain that goes probably 300 foot from the corner of my house to the storm drain, one of them that I think you're going to work on. Well, I've dug halfway up it with my backhoe, peeling my drain up to make sure it's open. Well, I got about halfway down and I took a dig, and all of a sudden the water starts blasting in out of that storm drain. The storm drain is blocked up, so every time it rains now, the water comes in that drain, blasts in my yard, plus, you know, after I moved in, the houses that are behind me on Cuswago, behind me there's 3 houses. It used to drop off behind on Cuswago, right? On the street, to where they were gonna build that church back in, but anyways, when they built the houses, they built them up higher than the street, and they didn't put a drain in. So all that water comes flying across into my yard, right? It all gets trapped in there now. I can't get it out. I got 1 foot of water. I got this much water in my backyard sitting from just that little rain we had yesterday, right? And I'm running these pumps, I'm running sump pumps for days and days and days. The problem is, I can pump it up to the top crest of my yard, but then it's going to all my neighbors on Log Cabin. I got 4 neighbors that own the property next to me. Well, I'm pumping it up in mine, it's full in there, they all come over and start screaming at me. I said, hey man, I got 1.5 feet of water in my basement, I'm just trying to get it out of my house. I got nothing to do now but pump it up over the hill onto the neighbors. There's nothing I can do about it. And I'm pretty sure it's that storm drain you're talking about. So anyways, I investigated the drain, right? I went out there this summer and looked at it. I could look all the way down to the bottom, and the bottom is just jam-packed full of stuff, right at the very bottom of the storm drain. As I was looking at this storm drain, I'm looking west to down Cuswago, right? And about 50 yards farther down, there's a telephone pole. Well, it's a new telephone pole. There used to be, okay, the telephone pole's here. The old one used to be here. Well, right in line with this storm drain is that new telephone pole, if you go look at it. And I don't know whether it pierced that drain, but where that's at, there's a big washout where the telephone pole's at, you know, going down. And it's gonna be going down into the storm drain that goes down around Cuswago.
Well, what we can do, Vince, is actually we have our engineer, and I'm not sure if Melissa is aware of it. What I can do is ask her the question. Melissa, can you unmute yourself? Are you aware of this situation, and maybe you could update the board?
Yes, this is the drain that consumers put a power pole through it.
Oh, they did?
And we've been dealing with the road commission and trying to deal with consumers, and yes.
Okay, so,
Meanwhile, my house is getting wiped out every time it rains. Every time, I've had to raise my door now. I'm pulling a door out, raising it 8 inches in my walkout basement just because of this problem.
Melissa,
It's a
you say that's
commission
county?
drain.
That's county?
It's a county's, yes.
So what I would do, if I was you.
County
is
road commission, yeah,
I
road
would-
commission, not surface water,
Not surface water, it's the road commission.
yes.
So the road commission put the pole in or authorized the
No.
pole?
Consumers put the pole in.
Their contractor.
Their contractor. Jack? It doesn't sound like it's a township issue, I'm trying to just,
Well, right, I mean, my suggestion would be drive consumers crazy as well as calling the county. But if consumers put the pole into the drain, they have some responsibility, some liability there.
yeah.
Point two is, they never even tried to clean the drain out. The drain might still function, you know, if they pull that big wad
Well,
of stuff
I
that's
mean,
at
they
the
can't put a
bottom.
pole into the drain regardless of whether the drain
Yeah.
functions or not, I mean, that's,
So I guess, Vince, what I would do is that, like our attorney is recommending,
It's
is
been a
what I would
year,
do
and
is
it's-
contact the county and
It wrecked
consumers.
everything in my house. Well, everything, my wife's got photography equipment. The water in 30 minutes came up this high. We were there. Piling stuff up in the basement, and it took me days to get it out of my house. I had, literally, when this stuff blasted, it was blasting through the cracks of the door this high. Just like high pressure. And I had like, you're talking, I don't even know how,
That's-
thousands of worms that I had to be in the basement. This was sucking all this stuff up, but my point, it's been a year and nothing's been touched.
Vince,
Yes,
Vince,
Melissa.
this is Alan.
Hey, Ellen.
I just want you to know that this belongs to the road commission. The township cannot fix it. The township can't go in there and start pulling power poles that belongs to the road commission or consumers in this case. So be careful, I guess, on what you're doing here. A phone call to the road commission at a high enough level would probably do it.
well,
Okay.
So you're saying you guys can't do anything about this?
Well, I will commit this. I will work with our engineer. Again, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know what happened, but it sounds to me that our engineers, our township engineers, Lawrence Engineering knows everything that's happened. I was not aware that this.
They don't know about my house problem though. They don't
No,
know
no, well,
what I'm going through.
Hold on. So what we'll do is
Oh,
tomorrow,
okay.
is I will meet with Melissa. Actually, we're gonna be together tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I'll have her come in 15 minutes early. We'll have a conversation with you. Again, I can't give you legal advice. That would have to, I'd have to talk to Jack. But the bottom line is, I think our attorney's telling you that what you need to do is contact
Well,
consumers and
the
the
road
county,
commission.
the
I mean,
road, or consumers and the road commission, and lay out to them legally.
Aren't I paying for the storm drain? I'm tapped into it. I had to come into a meeting when I built my house and get permission and pay the fees to tap to this storm drain. Now I've been a year without this storm drain.
Is it our storm drain?
Yes, it's the,
No,
No,
it
it
is
is
not.
It's
not.
County Road Commission.
well, it's the drain that runs right down Cuswago.
Right, but just what our engineer said and Tom said, it's not the township's drain, it's the county's drain. I'm trying to help you.
Okay.
I'm saying, I will personally help you. I will
So-
make a call.
so meanwhile, I can pump the water up to the crest of my yard and it goes away, but it's gonna go bug the neighbors. I personally went down and talked to him. I said, I got no choice. I told him the drain smashed, I was just,
Well, what I'm saying is Vince, I will gladly make calls tomorrow.
Okay.
She's gonna be in.
I
We'll call
appreciate
the county and start the process. I will let them know what the board has heard and what our concerns are for one of our residents, and I will represent you as a supervisor the best I can to at least start the process. And then, more than likely, I don't know, Jack, if he would have to legally go after I don't wanna go down that road. Yeah, we can't go down the road, but I'll at least start the process, and
and I just
then,
wanted you guys to know, it destroyed my house, and I lost everything, because the insurance company flipped me the bird. They said, go to the township, because it's a storm drain issue, backup storm drain issue, It's like, so I'm sitting here out of everything, lost well, furnace, washer, dry, everything that was in the basement. And that was a year ago. And nothing's been touched. I mean, it's nothing. They came out and put a little bit of red paint on the top of the drain, they sprayed it.
That was probably the county coming out to
No, that's
say, this
when-
is one we need to fix.
That's when they came out, your code enforcer came out with the engineer.
Oh,
He
okay.
came out right away. I mean, it was a day later, because I was in here saying, I said, man, I told him, I got a foot and a half of water in my house. I was, you know, he came out right away. Patrick came out, I think the next day he met me out there,
All right.
so.
Vince, if you could, on a piece of paper or something, just give me all your contact information, unless Pat has it. If he's got it on record, then I'll have all your information.
Well, I talked to him, because I saw this issue happening again. I'm out there, oh my God, here comes the water. And like I said, that rain we got yesterday, it's up to my door. Just that little bit of rain. Because it's coming. Like I say, my yard used to handle it, but when they built them houses behind me, if you guys go out there and look at it, you can look at it. It's the original house that's on Cussawago. It goes down over the road. All the new houses, they burned them up. So all that water, instead of going north, it's coming south right in my yard. And you can see it go right across the road where the water has literally cracked the road on Cussawago. And it's formed like a nice little funnel to bring all the water into my yard from the other side of Cussawago. My neighbor is doing some building right now. He tried to dig in the ground, and the water is just blasting in. I mean, it's just it can't get out. It just, it's just stuck,
Well,
So, I
will
appreciate
commit
any help
to-
I can
No,
get.
no, I appreciate it. I will, tomorrow, like I said, Melissa and I are gonna be in actually, we're gonna have people here at the office, and the county's actually gonna be here. So, at a meeting I'm gonna have, so what I will do is, we will bring your issue up, and then either Melissa or myself will get back to you directly.
Now, is that the drain you guys were talking about?
I, honestly, Melissa,
It's gotta be,
oh, she did say it was?
it's
It is
gotta
one of
be
the drains.
Because when you guys start talking about a drain on Cussawago, I'm going, the other ones are all good, because I walked down and looked at them. When it goes around the corner, it turns up, goes right in the lake.
Well, it seems to me, even if we fix this issue, if the county comes out and fixes the issue, I mean, it looks like it's a bigger issue. If they
Well,
can
yeah,
fix
the
the drain, but if 40 yards south of it, there's a
Telephone.
telephone pole still through the drainage pipe,
Well, that's what
then
I
there's
told
still
the
gonna be
code
an issue.
enforcer. I showed him, I said, looks to me like they put that telephone pole right through the drain.
And I think Melissa, our engineer, gave affirmation to that, so
Alright.
we'll check on it.
I appreciate any help I can get.
Yes, I will.
I mentioned one other thing, Mr. Glasgow. You mentioned that we charged you for that, for the tap in. Understand, we don't keep that money.
No, I'm just saying, I had to legally come down here and get permission, and everything's fine. I don't have a water issue as long as I'm hooked to that drain.
Okay.
Everything gravity feeds right back into us.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, I'll entertain a motion regarding the Genesee County Road Commission cost proposal to repair the storm water catch basin on Cussawago Drive as presented.
I'll move that we move to approve.
Motion's been moved and seconded.
Very good.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Opal,
Yes.
Tucker's absent, Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
I vote yes, Reed,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business is the beach upgrade proposal on Manitowoc Park. That's our beach behind us. This is actually a recommendation for myself. I did talk to Mike today, and since this is, I guess, a park, that in the future I will roll that to our Parks and Rec Board, but I am recommending, if you go back there and look, the sand is as hard as a rock. All the sand's been washed into the lake. There's no delineation lines. I guess Tom said that when they came out to look at the proposal, there is a delineation line of cement this way. I want to put one here so it holds more sand, things like that. So it is an investment, but it's an investment for our residents. I can look out my window on a summer day, and I was amazed when you look out there and you see 50, 60 people out there on a hot summer day. So this money I'm asking for is for our residents. I don't ask for money unless it's something we need. And I know that there's been a question, I don't know if somebody from the board as far as, well, actually it was our attorney, I think, that asked, there's only one. Tom did reach out to multiple, but we didn't get bids. It is hard this time of year. If the board wanted to wait until fall, I don't think we're gonna get any cheaper, but we may get other proposals. But I'm certainly recommending that we spend the money to clean that up out there. It is beautiful out there. I walked it before the meeting. Everything that we put in last year, except it looks like one plant has totally lived, and they've guaranteed us that they will replace it. It's gonna be absolutely beautiful out there. And this is really for the kids and the parents. It'll make it a lot safer. And it will retain and maintain the level of sand that we need for our kids. And our parents.
Is it gonna require a DNR permit?
Not, because we're not putting it in the water.
Yeah, we're not putting it in the wire.
Okay.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the beach upgrade proposal from MVS Landscaping as presented.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Kessler.
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker's absent, motion passes.
Thank you very much. I know our residents and the families will really appreciate it.
It's well used.
All right, moving on to the next under new business, resolution number 2025-17, street lighting special assessment district for Cedar Creek, Phase 2. Tom, will you please
Yes,
review?
the owner, developer of Cider Creek has asked for, we've already done one special assessment district for Phase 1 for street lighting, and now they want to do Phase 2. So they petitioned for another street lighting special assessment district. They've already got the plans that are in consumers' hands to put in 14 more streetlights. And so the next step in the process is to schedule a public hearing on the creation of the district, and we have a resolution prepared to do just that.
Thanks, Tom. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, resolution number 2025-17, Clerk Krug, will you please present the
Yes.
resolution?
Tentatively declares the township's intent to install and operate streetlights in the second phase of Cider Creek condominium subdivision. Tentatively designates the special assessment district as Cider Creek number 2 street lighting special assessment district, which includes units 31 to 95 of the Cider Creek condominium subdivision. Schedules a public hearing for May 20th at the Township Board meeting. Directs the clerk to publish, pardon me, and mail the hearing notices in accordance with statute. Repeals any conflicting resolutions. I'll move the resolution.
I'll second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Tucker's absent. Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Next under new business, proposed amendments to the 2025 Fenton Township budget. Tom?
Yes, so proposed are some relatively minor amendments to, and we're only looking at the general fund, not recommending any amendments to the other funds at this time. The highlighted items in the memo, increase in building permit revenue, $120,000, really just kind of lines us up with what we actually took in last year. But this year's actually starting out even busier, so that number could go up before the end of the year. $61,000 increase in state revenue sharing based on current treasury projections. $20,000 increase for special assessment revenue for a new special assessment district that wasn't in the original budget. A couple of increases in there for the cleaning service expense based on the recently approved contract. Part of it in 265, which is building and grounds, and part of it is in the auditorium for lower level. And then a $19,000 increase in parks and rec expense, which includes the cost of new swim buoys and ropes, and payroll costs for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and the beach upgrade project that was just approved. The net effect of the proposed amendments is actually an increase to the total fund balance of $140,000. This results in an overall budget shortfall of $151,000 for the year, but since $400 of the budget is for the Thompson Road project, which comes from restricted fund balance, our projected, the unrestricted fund balance is projected to increase about $250,000. So it's an improvement to what we started with. We're in good shape. Overall, these are relatively minor. And again, no other amendments at this time for the other funds, and I respectfully request the board adopt the amendments as proposed.
Thanks, Tom. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the adoption of the amendments to the 2025 Fenton Township budget as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker's absent. I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. All right, moving on to board comment. Is there any one on the board who has additional comments or concerns? Hearing none, we'll move on to public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. I will now open up the meeting for public comment on an agenda or a non-agenda item. The board does ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone here present that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda item? Come on up. All I need you to do is please come to the microphone, state your name. I know you, yeah.
Been there before, coming back again. I'm Dr. Gregory Streff. I live in 13139 Torrey Road. I just wanted to talk to you about your unintended consequences of a 5-foot setback on the house. My neighbor has a small house on a postage stamp lot next to me, and he decided to put a big house in, which resulted in his builder moving the temporary boundary lines and taking a vehicle through there and tearing up my lawn. Then we came home just a few weeks ago to find that he'd now taken a backhoe through our yard, tore up all of our drainage system, our watering system for the lawn, knew that we didn't want to, and his answer was, well, you knew I wanted a pool. It's gotten worse. He didn't have a pool permit, as Mike can tell. But also, he's now put a seawall in there, moving it 5 feet out into the lake. But the problem that I'm seeing with this is that, I think we want a community where we are friends with everybody. Our neighbors are friends, and this is I know of some other neighbors that have had this issue, and it's resulting in us having to get a lawyer, having to sue people, having to get the property restaked out again, and it's just creating a bad feeling between neighbors. And so, I think some things need to be changed. Also, when I was on the zone board meeting, the fire chief, I also was saying, if one of these houses catch on fire, how are you going to stop it? And I believe the fire chief was saying, I might be wrong on this, that they would have troubles in getting down to the bottom of the lake because of the distance between the houses with a big fire. So that's why he was saying maybe we should look at recommending that if we're going to do this, that they put some fire retardant things on these new houses. But I think moving the setback back would be a better option. We'd have builders that don't know what they're doing, like the guy who's put the seawall in didn't have an EGO permit or DNR permit, just put it out there. He's never done one before. He's the pool guy. Yeah, it's been fun. And then he gets upset with me because I called and asked Eagle, do you have a permit for this? No. And I've got pictures of what's happened if you want to see on my phone, so I'd be happy to share. But I think we need to look at some of the unintended consequences. And I mean, this is coming down to being not on the township, but on the property owners, and it's causing civil lawsuits against each other, which is now making for bad neighbors. And is this what we really want in our community? I don't think so. We don't think we want to have to not want to see our neighbors or, be mad at our neighbors. I think I like having nice neighbors and, people that, where we were before, we were on the south side of the lake, and if there was a problem, any one of us would drop what we're doing to go help the other one. But I don't just see that's happening here with that. So it's been fun.
Well, I won't address it all, and if Mike wants to come up, but I think our ordinance does state that there has to be 10 feet from the property line.
No, 5 feet.
It's fine. All right, Mike, you wanna come up, because I know when I built my house, my first house out here, it was 10 feet, and I had to get a variance. Maybe we've changed that. I did not.
So it's
No.
based on the width of the lot.
Okay.
Right? The ordinance has an exception for lots that are 60 feet wide or less, where it's only 5-foot side yard setback. Generally, it would be 10, but due to the narrowness of the lot, 5 feet is what's required here. Now, I was unaware about the seawall, so I'll reach out to Eagle tomorrow.
I already did.
Okay, well,
And I sent him pictures.
we'll follow up with.
They're also 6 feet out in the lake.
We'll follow up
From the
with
shore.
Eagle on that. But
And they put an unapproved thing in.
They'll be dealt with. I mean, Eagle's not friendly.
No, I know.
so, the discussion on the setback is on the planning commission board plan, right?
I think it's a good discussion.
Once we get a down period where we're not reviewing site plans, that will be on the agenda for discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, so, it just makes sense to me, unfortunately, it is what it is, but.
Make you want to go to the planning commission when you see it on the agenda. State your
Okay.
complaint.
All right, appreciate it.
You know what, agenda, it's just,
It's not Thursdays, it may be the.
it might be a few months down the road.
It's not gonna be months, right, but
It's on the calendar, it's on your website, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta look at the.
I would certainly stay on top of that and make that meeting.
Okay, I
Because
appreciate
again, I know that water property is very expensive and, they want to utilize as much as they can, but again, there has to be a point
Right,
where
and-
we just decide, you know what, if
when you
it's
tear
50
down a-
feet, maybe it's not buildable.
When you tear down an old house and put a new house on a postage stamp, why don't you just go find a new house that's bigger, that's on a bigger piece of property in the lake that are for sale? There's plenty for sale if you look around, you may have to wait a little bit, but why do that?
Please come to that meeting
I will,
and voice your concerns.
yeah.
Thank you for approaching the board.
No, thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else in attendance that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? We have our assessor, Julia.
I just want to make a comment on what we were just talking, because I heard you say something about maybe it's not buildable. It's not that the property isn't buildable and it's something that's on my agenda to do, is talk to the planning commission. When the planning commission approves these homes that need variances, not this particular one, but especially when we're gonna have more development on the water, they need to make sure that there is a park or an access lot for launching to the lakes. Because has not been done in the past, and 20 and 30 years later, it's creating a huge problem. And there's no other land to be found to make a launch for these people. So it's creating a lot of tiffs between people. Same thing with this, if someone is buying a lot on a lake, there should be adequate space for them to access the front or the back side of the property, whether it's on water or not. We don't look at that right now, at all. We have places where shrubbery is there, and it was there when a house was built, and some of these are old houses, and I get these complaints all the time. Some people can't even put their lawnmower through the side of their house without going on their neighbors. And if they don't have a friendly neighbor, then they can't get to the front part or the back part of their property to maintain it. Now, we all wish we had good neighbors, but unfortunately, life doesn't grant everybody with nice neighbors. But something for the planning commission and maybe the board, when you're looking at plans, make sure that stuff is reviewed a little bit better.
Anyone else present here tonight that would address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Hearing none, I will move on. I think actually, Melissa's the only one online. Am I correct, Tom?
Yes.
Melissa, I guess, is there anything that you would like to add tonight?
No, I have nothing to add.
Okay, all right. Well, we have reached out to both those in attendance and those visiting via Zoom. If there is nothing else, it is now 7:24 p.m. If there's nothing else, I say good night and the meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming.